Hey guys, it's Ashley, and today I'm going to go over my customer video service project. And I'm going to start off by talking about the book Be Our Guest. And honestly, I was so excited when I found out we were going to read this book because I am so in love with Disneyland. It's literally my favorite place on this earth. And I love just the Disney company in general. It's really amazing. And to me, Walt Disney was such an intelligent and creative man to come up with such an amazing place, such a high quality theme park. So from what I read from the book, Walt Disney wanted nothing but the best for his guests. He wanted to be known as the best, so this meant the best rides, the best food, and the best service. And from what I also read from the book, Walt Disney would only hire the best cast members who were friendly and helpful and inviting to help build and maintain the amazing reputation that Disneyland and all the Disney theme parks have. So one of the most important aspects I got from this book was guest flow. So about millions of people go through Disney parks throughout the day, and the comparison from guests to cast members, there's a wide, like a huge difference between how many guests come through and how many people are working. So I find it fascinating how they're able to control like how many people go on rides and actually want to keep the wait for lines short because the Disney company wants nothing but the best for their guests. This means shorter waits, more time for them to ride. And I know Disneyland has this thing where it's called extra magic hours, where they one day they open the park an hour earlier so people have more time to be able to enjoy the parks. And this gives guests a chance to go around and not have to deal with so many people. And we all know how much it sucks having to wait um, for our turn to get on rides. So the fact that they try to minimize the wait is really amazing. And also cast to guest communications. The cast usually whenever I go with my family, they're usually very helpful whenever we have questions. They seem to be very friendly, and even if jobs in general are very tiring. And I talked to one cast member one time, and he said it's the same thing every day. Like I asked him, "Oh, how do you like working here? It must be fun working working in the happiest place on earth." And he was like, "Oh, it's the same thing every day." So I totally understand where they're coming from, but the fact that they keep this, happy and joyful personality throughout the day, it's really cool. So unfortunately, my brother had a bad experience with a cast member where the cast member physically pushed him and said some degrading things. However, the when we took this up to management, they were so kind and so generous with how they solved the problem. They want nothing but the best for us, and they apologize, and they do whatever they can to make us feel happy and trying to chop down like any negativity, which I find is a great way for them to keep up their reputation, even if some people have bad days, and that's totally understandable. But the fact that they tried to clear up and solve the problem as quickly as possible, that just shows how much they respect um, what they work for and then the Disney company in general, and they want to upkeep the reputation. So for community service, I was on an all boys football team for 2 years, and we did a lot of community service throughout those 2 years. I noticed a lot of sports teams, they really believe in um, hard work and perseverance, and we also wanted to build our teamwork. So in the top left corner, that's a picture of the football team. We there was this Pan Pacific Festival, and we carried a float, and we got to walk in the parade. And for me, that was such an amazing experience because I love helping out the community in general. I love Hawaii, and I love how everyone is so supportive, and we try to do whatever we can to help out the community. We also helped with recycling. We took things, or we brought it to the recycling center. We picked up trash. we just did a lot of physical activity. We even helped set up a book fair and take apart the book fair. And to me, community service, it does help the community, yes, but it also builds integrity and leadership skills, and it creates bonds between people. We would also have beach practices, and after beach practices were done, we would try and clean up the beach as much as possible because over the years I've noticed people tend to make the beach like dirty. Like they leave their things and things get into the ocean and pollute the ocean. So we would try and pick up as much rubbish and anything like any debris or anything left that we would see, we would try and throw it away. So in my 2 years of being on the football team, yeah, it was fun playing and practices and just the team were so supportive and so much fun to be around. However, I think not only did I learn a lot from playing and all the long, hard time practices, I learned a lot when we did the community service. And it felt really good doing a lot of community service. So my family and I, we tend to always go to Cheesecake Factory. No matter how many times we see a restaurant, we're like, oh, we're gonna try that next time. We always end up at Cheesecake Factory, and that's not only because of their good food, even if that's a big part of it. Usually, the service we get at Cheesecake Factory is so amazing, and to me, food is a very important aspect. Like the taste of food, the quality of the food is very important. But at the same time, I really look at the person who is taking care of us and giving us their service. So no matter how good food is, if the waiter or the waitress isn't so polite or genuinely does not seem like they care about serving you, to me that just ruins the entire experience of dining. I haven't worked in a restaurant personally. I've always wanted to though, but back when I was in the culinary industry in high school, um, we had an experience where we had like a mini restaurant, and I loved waitressing, but at the same time, it did get frustrating at one point. So I can understand where employees come from when they're tired or they seem kind of rude, but at the same time, your job is to give the best possible service and do whatever you can to make the customers happy. So every time my family and we go to Cheesecake Factory, we leave usually very happy from both the service and the food that we consume. And to me, being a waiter or a waitress is a very important job because a lot of people dine in because eating is such an important thing to do. So even if it's a fast food restaurant or like a plate lunch, or like an outdoor seating kind of thing, not too much of a restaurant, it's still nice if the person who is serving you is genuinely friendly or at least like nice enough to let you have a good experience. So my brother graduated from UH Manoa with a communications degree. However, in the last 2 years that he has graduated from, well, he graduated in 2016. So for the last 2 years, he's been a manager at Hollister and Daniel Wellington. He has told me in this interview with him his experiences and what he went through as a manager. And being a manager is a lot of work. You have your employees to take care of, and you have to deal with the customers, and you want what's best for both your customers, but your employees also. So he tried to do whatever he could to make his customers happy and his workers happy also. And as a manager, you're taking on the responsibility of solving any problem that comes your way. And it did get tough for him at some points, but he still persevered and he did whatever he could to solve the problem at hand, in which most cases he solved every problem possible. So two important Hawaiian values to me is ho'oko and ala ka'aina. So ho'oko means to fulfill and succeed, and ala ka'aina means to show leadership and give guidance. And to me, I feel like they both balance each other. I have to deal with each other in a specific way because in order to be a good leader, you have to, or in order to fulfill and succeed, you have to be a good leader. And I know being a leader is such like everyone wants to be a leader. But at the same time, it's a very hard role because you have to think of ways to, like, if there's challenges that are thrown your way, you have to find the best way to go through those challenges, or if there's problems, you have to find the best way to solve those problems, and you also have to take care of, your followers, and, you know, not everything has to be about you necessarily, like what you want to do or what you think is right. As a leader, you have to go through what everyone wants or what everyone thinks is right. And to me, a good leader is also a follower. Like, everyone wants to succeed, um, but in order to succeed, you have to go through these challenges. In order to fulfill your goals, um, you have to, or you know, in order to reach your goals, sorry, you have to do whatever you can, no matter how challenging something can be. If you really want something, you have to work at it, especially if you're in a group or if you're a leader of a group. You have to do whatever is in the best interest for your group to reach your goal. So that is the end of my video service project, and I enjoyed doing this video service project because I learned a lot about management and leadership skills and doing whatever best when you're working in hospitality, the customer, literally in general, whether it's retail or food service or hospitality, the customer is always right. Unfortunately, no, but the customer is always right, and we have to do whatever we can possible to please the customer. We have to find ways to shortcuts or ways to solve problems, solve challenges, and just do whatever we can to provide the best. Thank you for watching.